you have, but I don't think they do here.
We're on the record for the Kester matter. This is case number 384243. Can I have appearances?
Dr. Matthew Friedman, 11571, on behalf of the plaintiff, Clint Kester. Mr. Kester is present in the courtroom to my right.
Thank you. And your name, ma'am?
Dawn Perez.
I'm sorry, I had a really wild case
That's
earlier.
Okay. I understand, Judge. I know you wouldn't do it if you didn't have to.
Rare, but I had to calm a lot of people down. I'll be reading about things in the paper tomorrow. All right. So here we go. We're here on status check. Tell me what's going on.
Judge, we filed a status check memo to try and give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Do you recall when you were here last time, you made some temporary orders, particularly regarding the two minor boys. We already have a final custody arrest to the eldest daughter, and she's Leilani will emancipate in 3 weeks anyway. So
Yeah.
not an issue. But as to the two boys, and here's our concern, and we brief it in our status check memo for you. The main concern is defendant's truthfulness with this court and her relationship with Mr. Greenfield. So on a number of occasions she's come to court. Most I'll start with, and I'll be brief. It's in our memo, but I'll be brief. End of April, she files an opposition to our original motion, saying she's no longer dating Mr. Greenfield. They have been separated. She's going to therapy, so on and so forth. Okay. Well, we've now learned that on May 9th, she complained of domestic violence and had opened a case against Mr. Greenfield 2 weeks after filing an opposition saying they were separated. Then she comes to court on the 25th, makes no mention of the May 9th incident, and tells Your Honor they're still separated, she's in counseling, she's moving on. Her counsel argues for her. You make some temporary orders, fine, we move on. Then we're here again in December. And in December, we had told Your Honor before we came to court, Judge, we still think that she's with Mr. Greenfield. We have indicia, there's money from the minor child Kobe's account going to Mr. Greenfield. We have a strong degree of belief that this is going on. And again, no. And we've since learned that again, I believe that's on May 6th. I'm sorry, we were here May 13th, or excuse me, December 13th. On December 6th, she again complained of domestic violence. An active case was opened against Mr. Greenfield for domestic violence, and we now understand he's been arrested for domestic violence. So she's standing here in court telling you 6 days after she reported him for domestic violence, saying, we're not dating. There's no relationship. So there's a real issue with truthfulness. And particularly, this is an individual that both of these young boys have told you they have problems with, have told you causes them concern, and obviously, they complained to us of specific, and in the interview, specific instances of problems with this individual. Now, most concerning, and because I think Your Honor's orders are, as far as orders, were, look, don't have the children around Mr. Greenfield. Okay. I don't know that I can tell you. I don't have a fly on the wall. And the concern we have is these boys, while Kobe has the ability to exercise discretion, Avery doesn't. And so I don't know that Avery can really feel that he can be honest at this point because he's got to go to Mom. And Mom sort of makes that happen with sort of ardent force. He needs to go. So now what we understand is Mr. Greenfield's been arrested. The defendant bailed him out. Okay, so this is our understanding. How do we know this? Because Leilani is spending time over defendant's house. Why? Because now Leilani's dating Mr. Greenfield's friend. And so the understanding we have is Leilani is invited over to defendant's house where they have, for whatever, her time with Mom, where they have romantic evenings as a foursome. And I'm not implying sexually, but the four of them have an evening. Okay? Here's our issue, Judge. It's very apparent that truth is not important, at least, and this is plain records. I mean, the arrest records, the warrants, this is what it is, okay? It's very important. The defendant's not interested in truth. She's interested in avoiding child support. We indicate in the memo, my client doesn't care about child support. There's arrears outstanding. We filed the schedule of arrears, about $2,900 outstanding. She hasn't paid for months. I think she made a $40 payment, or something. She has about $2,900. He doesn't care. His real concern is these two boys, their well-being, and the fact that if defendant's not interested, and you said at previous hearings, Your Honor, was very clear, you can't force Mom to date who Mom wants to date or not date. But you can make orders regarding where these children should be. And you were very clear that if Mom decided that this relationship was more important, that was going to have an effect on custody. And that's kind of where we are at this point. And I understand you have some constraints under the law, but in terms of what you could do with finality. But we feel at this point she's not demonstrating a desire to parent. She's not demonstrating a desire to, again, what were you told? Counseling, therapy, she's moving on, she's making all this progress. She's not. Plain reality, she's back in this cycle. And, for all I know, I don't know who's to blame, and it's not really our concern. At the end of the day, the reality is this is an ongoing cycle of violence that she's exposing herself to, that she's now roping Leilani into. And while Leilani may be free to make her own decisions, clearly they're poor decisions, because I can't imagine that this individual, or that mom and Cody, and then Cody's roommate and Leilani is a great situation given the status of defendant's relationship with Mr. Greenfield. This is Mr. Greenfield's roommate now, who's been introduced to Leilani through defendant, right? So that can't be a great situation.
Leilani's known him for years.
Okay, well, so there's not even dispute then that that's going on. It's just when they met, right?
There's not a dispute to that, no.
Right.
But
So Judge, this is not, Mom can do what she wants to do. But there are two boys who have a good, stable home that they can be in. They don't need to be in and out of this home.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
What's going on?
Your Honor, I've done everything to provide a stable and safe environment for my kids, my boys especially. And yes, I am still going through therapy at Safe House, and they're helping me get through this. The boys have had zero contact with Cody Greenfield, as agreed, and I won't ever have that happen, because that's what needs to be done. Kobe has given discretion to come over to my place, and he still comes over every weekend. He still comes over. Leilani moved out of their house, and now she lives with me. Yes, she goes to see her boyfriend, and yeah, he lives at Cody's house, but she's living with me.
How old is her boyfriend?
He's 21.
So the roommate, your Mr. whatever his name is, his roommate is 21 years old?
Yes, he just turned 21. And he was the neighbor across the street, and when I had moved out, he asked if he could rent a room at the house, the neighbor kid, to move out of his home.
So he was living with you?
His
and
parents' house across the street.
Okay.
I mean, and also the father, he asked me to watch the kids for an entire week.
So
To the point I feel that
when you
he
told me
does
that
have,
you were not having a relationship with this other gentleman, you still are?
I'm not together with him.
Since
Whatever
when?
they may think, I am not
Did
together
you bail
with
him out of jail recently? There's records. Don't tell me.
I
that.
understand that, and I did
Did you?
help him in that situation. But we are not together.
Anything else?
Judge, I think you have it.
The only thing that I can do is maintain the discretionary on Kobe. He's 16. He can go where he wants to. You'll have sole custody of Avery and visitation at your discretion. Oh, and I can't make that permanent.
I understand.
That's a temporary. Do we have a trial date set?
We don't. If you
In
want
this
to set
case,
one,
I got to do that.
that's fine.
I'm not allowed to change custody without an actual trial.
I understand.
That means that you can, the child can visit mom as long as you're okay with it.
And Kobe now has, is it complete discretion?
Complete discretion.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Do I have, how much time do you need for your trial? You saw my dates are way out.
Last time, Your Honor indicated the way you perceived the burden to be that if mom wanted to move custody, it was going to be mom's. To move off this, mom needed to demonstrate to the court. Now, if you want me to put on a case in chief, that'd be different. But my attitude's a half day is fine.
Well, currently, they have joint, I believe, and temporary, primarily Leilani.
Leilani's permanent. I don't think and that'll be over in a month anyway.
Leilani's, so joint physical custody of Kobe and Avery is the current standard.
That's correct.
And if Dad wants sole legal custody or anything beyond joint, then I have to have a trial.
I still think, and that's fine. You'd indicated it differently just based on the posture, but I understand the law is what it is. So,
The law is what it
if
is.
that's the case, I think I can still do it in a half day, Judge.
Right.
I would, obviously maybe the court can ruminate briefly once you give us dates on the way attorney's fees and stuff might work in this case?
I'm looking at February the 4th, next year,
Okay. February
at
next
2
year.
o'clock.
Fine with me, Judge. February 4th, 2019, too. Okay. And you want to back
I
into
got to
these
give you
dates?
your cutoff dates.
Okay.
You'll need to prepare the order, counsel.
That's fine. Absolutely. And do you want me to submit, Judge, or do you want defendant to review and sign off?
She doesn't need to sign off
Okay,
on it.
I will submit it
It's,
to you.
it's a simple enough order that if you put extra stuff in there, I'll notice.
I will not do that, Judge.
Give me a minute, we'll get you the cutoff orders.
Perfect.
Oh, not even a minute. Your discovery cutoff is January 4th, 2019. So at the top, under date, your pretrial memorandum is January 21st, 2019. Your calendar call will be January 31st, 2019 at 2 p.m. Your exhibits are due at the same time. Utilize the Discovery Commissioner timely. Do not attach exhibits to your pretrial memo. Do not independently file your exhibits and only provide a concise statement of facts in your pretrial memorandum. If you should get an attorney between now and then, make sure they get a copy of this document and the one I'm going to send, the formal order. I
You'll do
do
a CMO then, Judge? You don't want me to?
I do the
include it?
CMO. I
Okay,
just need
perfect.
you to do the temporary
That's fine.
situation, circumstance.
Done.
That's all I need from your order. We do a formal CMO. And do we have your current address and everything in the records?
Thank you, Judge. I'll prepare.
Okay.